Another challenge, another solution statement video. Today I'm doing this a little bit different than I did last time, but just want to take a few minutes to talk to you about the services that I offer. I help people heal emotional baggage and trauma and become the person they wish to be and create a better life for themselves. And the healing isn't just emotional, it's one of the specialties, emotional baggage and trauma. But I actually help people holistically deal with all levels, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. But I went through a lot being mistreated and abandoned as a child, and instead of going the typical route that most people do, being angry and blaming their circumstances and getting into drugs and alcohol and other addictions and taking their problems out on other people, I did my best to do the opposite because I knew of other people in my family who were doing that kind of thing, and I didn't want to do that. So instead I chose to learn from people who had achieved the things that I wanted to achieve, and I learned to heal and create a better life for myself, and now I help others do the same thing. I went through a lot of different training for a lot of years, upwards of 10 years, depending on which aspects you're talking about, because I've learned a lot of different things and provide a lot of different services under the life transformation umbrella. It's a bit broad, obviously, but it's because I have studied a lot of different specialties and a lot of different levels of health and healing and transformation, and I've done a lot of unusual levels of experimentation and found a lot of unusual people to learn from. And so it can be rather broad. People usually come to me for one or two different issues, and then they end up working with me on transforming their entire life, sometimes for years. I have a few clients that have been working with me for many years, if not a decade plus. I have one client that's been working with me for 14 years, I believe now. But it can take a lot more to heal than it can to prevent problems. And so I try to focus on helping people prevent problems, but if they do go through severe situations and traumas, that is one of the things that I specialize in. In fact, I'm one of the few that can actually, I'm also a therapist, not just a coach, and I help people with even compound PTSD, which most practitioners don't actually know how to do. Even most in the therapeutic region of things. I am not a traditional practitioner. I am a holistic natural practitioner. I have learned from medicine men, monks. I studied indigenous, monastic, and dynastic medicine, if you know what that is. Basically, I have studied various forms of mental, physical, and spiritual health and healing practices from around the world, various different cultures, and I have a very universal, holistic approach, combining all of those different aspects and levels and techniques and systems and tools, including some technology. I use energy therapy in various different forms, light and sound, microcurrent, and higher levels of energy, electrical energy therapy. So there's a lot to it. You can see that on my website at qealliance.org. But that, in a nutshell, is how I got to the point of being able to help people do what I do, what I have done. I didn't get into a lot of the toxic things that most people do, though I have gone through, emotional baggage and trauma. I had to heal from that, and in fact, some of it I've been going through for decades, and I've only been fully able to recover from and get out of the way and actually become the person that I wanted to be over the last few years. There are many levels to emotional baggage and trauma and the limiting and inaccurate beliefs that we adopt through that process from people around us, from people we grew up around. Most of it comes from before 7 years old, the programming that's in our heads. I do what is sometimes called a mental reprogramming process, helping people rewrite their mental blueprints, get rid of limiting and inaccurate beliefs, and clear the hindrances to them being the person they want to be. You don't have to live with it. A lot of people, a lot of the clients that have come to me have believed to a great extent this is just who they are, and either you accept it or you don't, especially in their romantic relationships and their family relationships. And that is not accurate at all. We don't have to accept mistreatment and abuse. It's one of the things that I help people with, is learning how to set healthy boundaries. So there's a lot to this healing process. There are a lot of levels and aspects to it. And so it's a very in-depth process, and that's why it can take a long time. But for individual cases like individual traumas, it can be a very short amount of time. The compound PTSD is what takes the longest. But for people who just have trauma from a car accident, physical damage and ill conditions that they need to heal, I can help with that. If people have been beaten, molested, gone through, the more severe trauma cases that you hear about, I can help with that as well. And sometimes if it's just one incident and it's a short thing, it can be a very quick process, sometimes 1 or 2 sessions that are anywhere from half an hour to 2 hours after the preliminary intake process. And sometimes it can take years. And if you want to really transform every aspect of your life and really build the personality, the character, and the good habits and levels of awareness and understanding that will make you an unusually positive, beneficial, and helpful person and healthy in relationships, then it can take years. But it's all worth it, because you can really, truly achieve what you want to achieve, become the person that you want to be, and even helping change the world is achievable. You can reach whatever level you want to. So one of the things that I've learned in this process is that we are capable of so much more than we imagine. And we are taught a lot of inaccurate things in our educations, whether it be the physical sciences or the mental. There's a lot of things that we were taught in school that were proven wrong before we were even born. The leading edge of science is something that I have studied heavily all of my life. And there's a lot that most people don't know, including a lot of the practitioners out there. A lot of practitioners are too busy helping people to read the medical journals and keep up with all the latest research. And not only do I try to keep up on the latest research, but I actually try to keep up on the leading edge of practice and network with and in various different organizations with and follow the work of various different scientists on the leading edge of a lot of different sciences, but especially, of course, healing. And it's an exciting experience. It's an exciting time. There's a lot of new stuff coming out all the time. There are national and international conferences. There are a re-merging process is going on between science and spirituality. A lot of the misconceptions that have created a rift between the scientific and spiritual communities around the world originated about 2,600 years ago, according to Fritjof Capra in the Tao of Physics. That's a good, highly recommended and college-studied book on the subject of the split and remerger of science and spirituality that's been going on over the last 200 years or so, since we've developed the technology to prove a lot of what spiritualists have been saying for thousands of years. And so we have an integration. That's where you get integrative health, and you get the holistic health movement that has been going on for, I would say, the last 10, 15 years. We've been seeing it the most within the last 5, but it's been something that's been going on progressively behind the scenes for a long time. Some of my students are actually different kinds of health practitioners. I've had massage therapists, I've had doctors, nurses, and still do. And so Continuing education is something that I work on. That's why it's a big part of why I am creating a university right now, a holistic healing and life transformation university, to really look at the whole picture. That's what holistic means for those of you who don't know. We hear a lot of buzzwords and don't always hear them defined very well. Holistic simply means whole or complete, looking at the whole picture, like pieces of a puzzle that you put together to understand the bigger picture of what's actually going on when you put that puzzle together. There are a lot of missing pieces that have been theorized about, misunderstood, misinterpreted, and a lot of information that just hasn't made it to the public yet because there's a lot of red tape and a lot of editing, and there is a lot of resistance because a lot of people had inaccurate beliefs and they don't want to admit the truth of things. They don't want to face the truth of things. They don't want to be proven wrong. Their ego and what they think they know, which really just comes from the people around them that they grew up around. It isn't actually their own. It's not their beliefs. Most of the time what we believe is just a combination of rumor and theory that we've been indoctrinated with since childhood, especially before 7 years old. And so it isn't really our beliefs that are being threatened or debunked. It's just updated information that is correcting the inaccuracies that we were taught by people who really didn't understand a lot of things. There was a lot of holes in all of our education. And we need to learn about the truth of things and keep an open mind. Be skeptical, but not cynical. Not be closed-minded. Otherwise, just like a lot of the people that said that the Wright brothers would never be able to fly, or a lot of other inventions weren't possible, make fools of themselves. We make fools of ourselves when we close ourselves off to the truth of things and refuse to even look at the evidence for things. We always have to be open to the evidence, or we're not truly scientific. I have been trained in both spiritual and scientific realms, and I combine both, and I practice very advanced science. I am a practitioner of critical thinking and root cause analysis, and I use that in everything that I do. All of my problem solving that I do, helping people solve their problems, is all based in real science. And teaching people, educating people about the truth of things is how you give them what they need to get rid of inaccurate beliefs. There's a lot of conflicting beliefs that we have in our heads because we've heard a lot of different rumors and theories and don't know what's actually true. I help people debunk the things that are inaccurate and learn about the truth of things and reprogram their beliefs and their bad habits. So, if you have various different aspects of yourself that you would like to transform, whether it be your personality, whether it be your mind, whether it be your physical body, I can help with all of it. I help you heal and transform and create the personality, become the person that you want to be, and create a truly fulfilling life that you actually want to live, and have the healthy relationships that you actually can enjoy. That's another specialty of mine. Healing and transformation in the personal level, as well as the relationship level, both in romantic and family relationship levels, friendship circles, and also the social community at large. Cities, states, countries all have conflict issues, as we know, especially with the wars that are going on between countries quite a bit over our lifetimes. And world peace is actually possible, but you have to learn to resolve conflict. Conflict resolution is a very rare knowledge and skill, and it's one of the things that I help people develop. So if you want happy and healthy relationships, which are the core of really what gives us a happy, fulfilling life, not all this material, superficial nonsense, as we know from many business owners and movie stars who've achieved great success and given most or all of it away, like Russell Brand, for example, and live a more happy, healthy, and peaceful life because of it. These people demonstrate to us that material success isn't everything. It's not even the things that are really important to us. It doesn't make us happy. It's nice to be able to have things and be able to travel. It gives us freedom to do a lot of things that we couldn't do otherwise. It's a resource and a tool, but it's not what fulfills us. Our relationships are what fulfill us. And if you haven't learned that yet, that's definitely something we can work on. because true fulfillment comes from relationships as well as, well, there's different ways to look at it. There's different compartments. But basically, it's about your inner and outer relationships, your relationships with other people and your relationships with yourself. And I say that in plural because really we are actually more than one person. We just don't realize it. People talk about your inner child, but we also talk about how people act a different way around different people. People act one way around their friends, another way around their family. And psychologists talk about this. This is not my own personal opinion. This is common understanding in the psychological community, is really we have different ways of expressing ourselves, different ways of being, depending on the people we're around, the environment we're around, how safe we feel, how understood we feel, how safe we feel to communicate and be ourselves and interact, how mentally, emotionally disturbed other people around us may be, and whether that may be a bit volatile for us. One of the things that I've seen a lot over the last decade, and especially over the last 5 years since all the COVID lockdown nonsense, is that people went through a pressure cooker time during all the lockdowns. They got isolated and stuck with people they didn't really know how to deal with, and they didn't have the conflict resolution, emotion management, and healthy coping mechanisms that allowed them to be able to find a way to resolve issues and get along very well. And a lot of relationships got destroyed. I've seen numerous articles, and I've talked with various different clients and students over the last several years about the fact that most people are actually very isolated and alone. And a lot of it is because a lot of those unhealthy mental, emotional beliefs and behaviors, a lot of toxicity was being avoided and hidden by a lot of people, and being around people for such a long time, locked in one place, brought a lot of it out. And so a lot of people have actually experienced the destruction of their relationships. A lot of people have been cheated on. There's a lot of escapism that has gone on. People have gotten into unhealthy addictions, and people have had to leave. People have become angry and abusive, even more than they were. There's a lot of unhealthy behavior that has gone on that has destroyed a lot of relationships. And so there's a lot to this, really, and that's part of why people sometimes choose to work with me that long. Most people work with me for a few weeks to a few months, but there are people who really want to go past that and really transform themselves in their lives, and those are the people that go on to work with me for years or decades. No matter what level of work and what kind of work you want to do, if you want to do healing and transformation, I can help you with that. So this has been a little bit longer than I had planned, probably quite a bit longer, but I hope that you got a lot out of it. I hope that you better understand not only what I offer, but also how you can help other people and offer your own services in this community that I'm recording this for. There's a lot of us that help a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of people that don't have the experience that I do being in the support and transformation industries for decades. And so this will hopefully be a good example for all of you to learn that, number one, you don't have to be perfect. There's a lot of perfectionistic standards, a lot of the, oh, you can't say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to be, perfect and flowy, and it's just not that way. In fact, people are more comfortable with you if you are authentic and speak from the heart rather than from your head too much. If you can truly think on the fly and express yourselves and put sentences together, and you demonstrate an understanding of what you are trying to communicate, and you demonstrate the experience that you have in that and the confidence that you have in that naturally. We have confidence when we actually have proven to ourselves that we can do things. And that comes out naturally when you speak naturally. It doesn't come out very well, even if you have that kind of experience, if you are too scripted, if you have done more than just create bullet points of the ideas and concepts that you want to convey, if you've actually, written out a script and you're just reading it, or if you've pieced things together and you're trying to remember all the different things that you wanted to say and you've overcomplicated the process basically, you can really mess that up. And so hopefully this also has inspired you to just be natural, think it through. Yes, you can put together bullet points, and whether you read that or not, you can just look over at it and reference it real quick. I didn't do that this time. I am completely running off of the fly. The only thing that I read is the solution statement that I've got on my screen next to me. Other than that, this is all just on the fly, off the cuff, off the top of my head, how I speak naturally with my clients, students, and potential clients. And that is what helps people be confident in you, that you know what you're doing, that you have the experience, that you have the understanding to help them. And if you're not quite there yet because you haven't been doing it as long as I have, that's fine too. Just be honest about where you're at, what experience you do have, even if it's just transforming yourself and you haven't helped other people yet. You might stumble through it. That's why you don't charge thousands or tens of thousands of dollars an hour for your work. Price according to what your value is that you are giving people, and people will respect and appreciate that, and appreciate your honesty and your integrity in presenting yourself as you truly are, not trying to be something that you're not. And if you have the understanding and experience to help them through what they need help with, then they will explore that with you. And as you help them through that, you will get testimonials and you will build and grow, just as Dean described earlier today on the presentation. Just take it step by step. Be natural, be authentic, trust the process, trust yourself. As long as you are within integrity, you are speaking honestly from your true knowledge and true experience, that's what matters most. Your authenticity and your passion, caring about people and the problems that they have. Don't worry about money. As I said on the call repeatedly today through text, it's not about all that. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having all your ducks in a row. Just be honest about where you are, the success that you have achieved. Share that. Share what you've learned. Don't think of it as trying to teach people. That, especially if you're not trained as a teacher, can be a very daunting and intimidating concept. But it's really not that complicated. Yes, it helps to have teaching techniques. It helps to have the experience to understand people's communication and how to communicate well yourself. But if you bumble through it, it's okay. What matters is that you have the experience, you have the understanding, and you can convey that. Even if it's a little difficult, you price accordingly. You may not be as smooth as the people that are charging more, so you charge less, and that's okay. Work from where you are to where you want to be. You will learn and grow, you will charge more, and you will make that money because you're worth it. Be honest about that, be sincere about that, and just focus on doing your best. If you make mistakes, people will call you on it. Take critiques honestly, look at whether they're accurate or not, and if they're accurate, learn from them, grow from them, admit your mistakes. Again, stay within integrity, and people will respect you for that. And you will gain a following, you will gain respect, you will build rapport, as they call it. You will build a reputation of being honest, sincere, and worth people's time, and your business will grow. That's all you really need. It's really not more complicated than that. Yes, there are tools and skills and techniques that you will develop along the way and that you can learn from others like me who have the experience, have the knowledge, have the training, have public speaking training, for example. There are aspects of it that you can learn and grow with, but you don't have to start there. You can build to that point. If you don't have the money for the training or the coaching or the mentoring, you can build up to that. Don't be intimidated by that. Just be honest about where you are. People will meet you where you are as long as you are reasonable with your prices. You give them the value that they are looking for. Either they buy or they don't. And either they feel it's valuable enough to buy or they don't. You can work on that. Understanding what your value is, what the pricing is, look at what's available in the industry, look at how well people talk, how well people work, Find other people like me who speak publicly. Look at how we work. Look at how we work with people, not just in presentation, but you see the coaching and training that Dean gives in these hot seat sessions. Learn from that. Use that as your gauge. Where are you in comparison to that? Give yourself a 1 out of 10 evaluation. Have other people do the same thing. Pull up recordings of these things. Show it to other people. And say, how would you rate me in comparison to that? Work on them, work with them on something, and then have them evaluate it, and take that feedback and use it to hone your understanding of where you're at, where you want to be, and just take it step by step to get there. You don't have to have everything perfect. I sure didn't. I started peer counseling as a teenager. Everybody has to start somewhere. You add pieces as you go. You find people who've done what you want to do. You learn from them, whether they charge you for it or not. There are people who have retired who are willing to teach because they want people to learn and grow. They have a passion for that, like many of us do, and they will donate their services. There are others who can't afford that, and they have to charge for that. That is their business, and you can build up to that. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. The worst thing you can do is worry. Take it one step at a time. Do your best. Learn from those around you. Learn from those in the community. And you'll make it just fine as long as you don't give up. The only true failure is failing to learn and giving up. As long as you don't do that, if you keep going, keep learning, keep growing, you will make it. That's the difference between success and failure. Do you really give it an honest effort? And do your best to learn and grow? Be open to criticism. Be open to learning. Admit what you do and don't know and learn what you don't know. Keep it up until you succeed. Learn from your experiences. Learn from your mistakes. The only true mistake is failing to learn. As long as you learn from your mistakes, that's part of the growth process. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We can achieve perfection potentially, yes. Some lifetime. Yes, reincarnation is real. I have personal experience. We can talk about that if you want. But perfection probably isn't achievable for you in this lifetime. It takes a lot more than most people imagine that it takes. I'm an old soul, a lot older than most people would imagine. So take it from somebody who knows from experience. I have thousands of years of memories. This stuff takes a lot more than most people fantasize that it does. You're not going to make it to saint level this lifetime. If within the next 100 or even 1,000. Or maybe 10,000. So don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it, and don't buy into people's oversimplifications and fantasies. Just be honest about where you're at and do your best to grow to where you want to be. That's all that matters. However far you get, it's however far you get. What matters is that you do your best. That's it. And don't be overcritical about that. Not best as in ideal if there was ideal circumstances. We all get tired. We all get frustrated. We all go through drama. And we are affected by it until we learn not to be. If we ever even get to that point where we're not affected by that. Again, perfection takes many, many, many lifetimes. So just take it step by step. You'll get there as long as you don't give up. I would know. I've been at this for decades. I have over a decade of training and I have over 2 decades of practice at many of the things that I do. You'll get there. I know from experience, and so I speak from experience. Trust that and let go of all the fear, let go of all the anxiety. Just focus on the next step. That's all you need. You've got guidance and support in the community if you need it. Reach out to us. Many of us will talk to you. Offer guidance and support, even if it's just like the hot seats, 5 to 15 minutes. You have support, you have people, you are not alone. Remember that. And take it one step at a time and you'll be fine. I wish you a wonderful, fulfilling life. Namaste.